so today's lesson, we are going to be converting decimals to fractions. Your very best friend will be a place value chart. If you have not already memorized the place value chart, I highly recommend you to do so. You can find these charts online, Google it, and there's a lot of free charts that you can use. So your first question for me may be, wow, let's look at this place. When you're looking at this place value chart, there's nothing about fractions in here. But there is. So let's go ahead and discuss that, okay? I'm going to start preparing my place value to think fractions now. So here, I'm going to start at the decimal. So anything to the left of the decimal, you guys are very familiar with. I'm not going to go into detail about it. But our first place value is usually ones. So in this case, when I printed this out, it says units, which is exactly the same as ones. But because I'm more familiar with ones, I'm going to use ones instead. Okay, and then it's tens, hundreds, thousands, and that's fine. Now, when we look at what's after the decimal, we're like, okay, so it's very easy to convert all of these into fractions. We always start with a 1 as a numerator, and whatever number you see written here, that's actually your denominator. So for example, this one says tens. I hear the word 10, so the 10 should be in my denominator. Anytime when you see the word THS at the ending of a number, that tells you that this value is actually after the decimal, okay? So let's try to do the same for hundreds. Again, our numerator is 1, and if you guess 100 goes underneath or in the denominator, you're absolutely correct because it says 100 right here. Again, with the thousands, we do the same thing. So we start with the 1 in the numerator, and then the thousands as the denominator. You can do this for all of the values that are to the left of here that we don't even show on here, okay? But it works the same way. So now let's go ahead and get started with our examples. So I'm going to put this aside. Let's say we have an example of 13 hundredths right here. Okay, so how do you use this chart to help you convert this into a fraction? Again, I'm going to start with the decimal. I'm going to use this chart to help me fill in this number. I start where the decimal is. I can put in the 0 and then 1 and a 3 right after the decimal. Did you see that? Okay. This means that my decimal number ended in the hundredths place. So how I put this into a fraction would be 13. This is my numerator, okay? And the denominator is that value that the last digit here ended at. So it ended in the hundreds. I'm going to put hundreds in here. It's that simple. So for example, if you had a number such as this, okay, you use the exact same way. You start at the decimal, you fill it in, okay, and the 6 is right after the decimal. And notice how it's 6 tenths. So whatever number here will be in your numerator, and whatever it ended in, this number is in that place value right there, and it says tenths, then you just put 10 at the bottom. That's your denominator. Okay, now let me give you, what if we have something like this? Okay, you use the exact same steps. So again, I always start at the decimal because it's easier for me to see, and this way it also helps avoid some silly mistakes I could be making. So I start at the decimal, the 1 is to the left, and the 2, I'm extending my chart, as you can see, and the 2 is to the right of the decimal. Okay, so then when you put this into a fraction, this 1 is actually a whole. Okay, and then whatever's after the decimal, I have 2 tenths. So 2 is my numerator and tenths is my denominator. It is that easy. With practice, you will get really good with this. And if you know the charts, and notice how when I read the number properly, I can actually see how it's written as a fraction. For example, if I read this number properly, it's actually 13 hundredths. 13 hundredths. Okay, this number as written is 6 tenths. 6 tenths. You actually hear it if you repeat the number, the fraction in your head. This number says 1 and 2 tenths. 1 and 2 tenths. Okay, it is that easy. Play with it, practice it, and you will master it in no time. Have fun learning.